So you're thinking about coming to Cambodia, either on vacation or maybe you're thinking about moving here, doing the digital nomad thing because you heard that the cost of living is really low. But you also heard about the political violence and the stories of human trafficking.
In October last year, a peaceful march in Phnom Penh turned violent. About 150 people came out to mark World Habitat Day by highlighting the issue of illegal land seizures when local government security guards attacked them.
A little disclaimer, I am not very well versed in the politics here, but I do know that there has been political violence in the past. As an ordinary citizen here, as a tourist or an expat, you're relatively safe as long as you're not involved with politics of the opposing party. Now, human trafficking, that is a big problem here in Cambodia, especially now with these scam call centers that have apparently opened up on the border towns.
Southeast Asia's Cambodia is a hotbed of these criminal enterprises.
For the most part, it doesn't affect us as travelers here in Cambodia, but you do have to be somewhat wary of things like that happening, especially if you decide to visit any of the border towns where these scam call centers are located. You do have to be a little exercise extra caution in those areas because most of those big scam call centers are owned by people that are very, very highly connected foreigners that don't mess around. All right, next up I want to talk about travel advisories. This is directly from the U.S. Department of State. We have two level 2 travel advisories for Cambodia. Level 2 means to exercise increased caution. The first one is for Phnom Penh, and they mention street crime, especially phone and bag snatching. We'll talk a little bit more about how to stay safe from getting your bag or phone snatched. But the travel advisory also mentions violent crimes such as sexual assault and homicide. If you go to any major metropolitan city, you're gonna have to be wary of violent crimes. It's not just a Phnom Penh thing. When I go to Philadelphia, I'm super aware of my surroundings. Philadelphia is a big city, and with big cities come crime and violence. So just keep that in mind when you're visiting Cambodia. If you're in Phnom Penh, be aware. The next travel advisory is for Battambang, Banti Manchay, Passapp, Siem Reap, Pai Lin, Kapong Thom, and these are mainly for the more remote areas of those provinces. Travel advisory talks about landmines and unexploded ordnance. Yes, there are still remnants of the war still out there in the form of landmines and explosives. If you're kind of adventurous and like to go off the beaten path, I highly recommend that you take along a local guide that knows the area. And if you do happen to find any mysterious objects sticking out of the ground, I advise you not to touch it. You don't want to actually set off a landmine and lose a limb. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about street crimes like bag and purse snatchings. Common thing is for drive-by snatchings. There's typically two guys on a moto, and you might be standing out in the street looking at your phone, looking for directions or taking pictures, or you might be even in your TukTuk, and these guys will drive by, and the guy in the back will grab your camera, your purse, your bag, and they're gone. The best defense against that is to not have your gear out in front of you like this. If you're like taking a selfie, that's like perfect for a thief to drive by in a moto and grab it out of your hand. There's also problems with pickpockets, especially in the markets like Orsay, very crowded, tight corridors, and pickpocketing is a huge thing there. And the best defense against that is to have a bag like this, a sling bag that you can move to the front of your chest, and that's where you want to keep all your belongings, your phone, your wallet, and things like that. I try not to have my wallet, my money, and my phone in my pockets when I'm walking through markets. So I always keep it in a bag. Speaking of the bag, if you have it on your back like this, thieves have been known to actually slice open your bag to get at contents. So that's why I suggest having a sling bag that you can move to the front when you're in more crowded situations. Next up, I want to talk about the traffic here in Cambodia, especially in Phnom Penh. Let's just say that traffic here is very chaotic. If anything happens to you, it's probably going to be something traffic related. So be extra vigilant, especially when you're crossing the streets. If you're a pro like me, you step out into traffic and just start walking across. If you walk slowly, the cars would just kind of go around you. Even if you do all the due diligence, you're super careful, hyper vigilant, you might still end up getting into an accident because some of these drivers here are nuts. I've seen them firsthand, especially the guys driving the taxis between provinces. Man, they drive insanely fast. I don't know how many times where I've seen my life flash before my eyes. That's why it's good to have something like Safety Wing's Nomad Travel Medical Insurance. That's right, I've partnered up with Safety Wing to bring you guys this message. You see, Safety Wing covers you in over 180 different countries, not just Cambodia. It covers you for up to $250,000 in medical expenses. So if you do happen to accidentally step on a landmine, just know that Safety Wings can take care of you there. And there's a $0 deductible. So even if it's something as small as, let's say, like you were eating some street food and you got sick and ended up in the hospital. When you're traveling, let's say you have a flight cancellation and you have to stay overnight in a hotel, Safety Wing will reimburse you for that. Or if you lost your luggage, they've got you covered there as well. You can get the electronics add-on just in case you get your phone stolen while you're out here. Safety Wing will get you a new one. On top of that, the Safety Wing is super easy to sign up. It takes like 5 minutes. You can do it on the day of your trip. You can do it during your trip. And it is a pay-as-you-go subscription, so you can cancel at any time. So before you guys head out on your next adventure, whether it be Cambodia or anywhere else in the world, consider signing up for Safety Wing's Nomad Travel Medical Insurance by clicking my affiliate link in the description down below. So Cambodia is a tropical country, and with the heat and humidity comes a chance of contracting malaria or dengue fever from mosquito bites. And the best way to protect yourself from mosquito bites is obviously using some sort of mosquito lotion or mosquito spray. I really like this mosquito lotion by 3M. It's really long lasting and it works extremely well, even against these blood-hungry Cambodian mosquitoes. The other thing I suggest is get in the habit of wearing long shirts and long pants. I know it's freaking hot here, but if you wear light colored long sleeve clothing, long pants, it actually keeps you cooler because it protects you from the sun. Another thing you need to look out for are cobras. I don't think I need to explain to you why you need to look out for cobras, but Cambodia is full of them. I've actually personally have seen a cobra here in Phnom Sampho. We had one that killed a goose and was trying to eat their eggs. You gotta be careful of areas like this behind me where there's a lot of tall grass, and also look out for any like fallen trees, logs, planks of wood, or any place where cobras can like hide and snuggle up in. And the chances of you contracting malaria, dengue fever, or getting bit by a cobra are very slim, but the risk is still there. That's why it's important to have something like Safety Wing's Nomad Insurance. Alright, so now that we've got the whole safety thing out of the way, let's talk about scams here in Cambodia, or as some people call Scambodia. There really isn't an extraordinary amount of scams happening, or more scams happening here than anywhere else. But I want to go over a list of a couple common scams that you guys need to watch out for. First one being the TukTuk scam. Be aware that if you're hiring a tuk-tuk off the street, some of those guys are kind of shady. I've heard a story about a guy that took a tuk-tuk right off the street, and he was taking him to a location, and apparently his tuk-tuk broke down, and the tuk-tuk driver was out there fixing it, and he asked for help from the passenger, and he got out to help the guy, and another guy came up behind him, cold clocked him in the back of the head, knocked him out, stole his wallet, stole his laptop. Crazy story. Chances of that happening to most people are slim, but just to let you guys know that it can happen. That's why I recommend using an app like Grab or Passapp. Those are ride-sharing apps. I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. Next scam that you should look out for, and these kind of all belong in the same category. There's fake monks. Fake monks looking for donations, people that are dressed up as monks asking for money. Monks do not ask for money. So If you got a monk coming up to you that's asking for money, don't give him any. Also beggars asking for money. Some of them use their children to kind of play on your pity. They'll tell you they want to buy baby milk, medicine, food, etc. If you offer to buy them that stuff, they might take you to a store where you buy whatever it is they want, give it to them, and when you're gone, they turn back around and sell it back to the store. The temple touts, now this isn't really a scam, but just know that there's a lot of touts all over the different temples and religious sites, and they're all trying to sell you something. Just know that oftentimes those are really, really inflated prices, sometimes up to 20 times more than you can just get, like, I don't know, whatever it is, like a bracelet at the market or something. Currency scams. I've heard stories about fake $100 bills that are swapped out in place of real $100 bills, even in ATM machines. A good way to protect yourself against that is to use like one of the QR code payment systems for bigger transactions. There's been talks about visa scams at the Thai border crossings with fake officials offering assistance to get you through the line quicker, or they're telling you that you don't have the necessary paperwork and you need to give me $50 to correct the paperwork. Just know that anybody that's standing outside of the office are not official. Also heard of immigration officers at the airports asking for T-money. That's not really a scam, but just know that you don't need to give them anything. There's never any money that's needed at the customs. Now I want to go back to the TukTuk scams. I just mentioned about the Grab and Passapp. Grab and Passapp are two apps that are widely used here in Cambodia for ride shares. It's basically like Cambodia's Uber. I'm a huge fan of Grab because it works in Vietnam and Thailand as well as Cambodia. You can connect your credit card to the app, so you don't have to worry about the Grab driver having enough change for you. And most of the times it is much lower than any of the tuk-tuks you can find off the street. So you're saving yourself two ways. You're saving yourself a little bit of money and the potential to get robbed by an unlicensed tuk-tuk driver. So as I mentioned earlier, Cambodia does have a QR code payment system. All the banks have a QR code that you can use to either accept money or pay a bill with. Even the little street vendors oftentimes will have a QR code set up. So if you're staying here long term, it's pretty easy to get an ABA or ACLEDA account. All you need is to show them your long-term visa, and then you can set up your ABA account. If you're like me and you're in and out Cambodia all the time, it is a game changer to have a bank account here in Cambodia, because then I can send money directly from my account to Cambodia. I don't even have to carry cash if I don't want to. For those of you that are visiting for the short term, maybe for a couple weeks, they do have a payment system called BAKONG, BAKONG. It's relatively new, and it actually works in Thailand and Vietnam as well as Cambodia. But the only catch is you have to load it with cash at any one of the participating banks or money wiring transfer places like Wing. So aside from apps like Grab and Passapp, there's a couple other utilities I like to use when I'm in Cambodia. And I'm not affiliated with this site at all, but I like Cambo tickets for booking tickets, transfers or booking taxis. If I'm leaving Phnom Penh to go to places like Kampot, Kep, Kampong Som, Battambang, Siem Reap, Cambo tickets is just super convenient, and you can actually pay using your ABA account if you have one. So it's super convenient for me. Like, I literally don't have to carry cash if I don't want to. Now there are places that don't accept QR codes. It's typically like street vendors that are out here, selling like coconuts or something simple. Oftentimes they won't have a QR code, but I would say 90% of vendors all have a QR code system or QR code for you to pay with. This universal thing, I've been using Google Translate a lot now. I do speak Khmer, so I don't need it as much as someone who doesn't. But since I can't read Khmer, I like using Google Translate to translate Khmer only menus. It actually does a pretty good job at translating that. Now, as far as like speaking everyday conversations, it does kind of miss the mark a little bit on translating Khmer conversation into English. But it's great in a pinch. If you're trying to find directions somewhere. This is useful in all countries that I've visited. Google Translate is like my it's like a lifeline for me. And finally, when you're first arriving in Cambodia or any country, I've been using SAILY, S-A-I-L-Y, really cool eSIM, and it is a little expensive. So typically, what I'll do is I'll use SAILY for the first day, and then I'll find like a local SIM. Usually the local SIMs are faster. I found that out in Vietnam. When I traveled to Vietnam, I was using SAILY, and SAILY it works, but it was kind of slow. But it was enough for me to get directions and to use my Grab to travel until I could find someone that was selling a SIM chip, a SIM for my phone. Again, if you're traveling to Cambodia or anywhere else, consider getting Safety Wings Nomad Travel Medical Insurance. It really is it can be a lifesaver, literally. And the link down below is an affiliate link, so it does help me as well as you. But anyway, if you've made it this far, you guys know what to do. Hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And if you really enjoy my work and you want to help support the channel, please consider donating to my beer fund by clicking the coffee link down below. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.